Hello, and welcome to Sestra-Tainment.
Sestra-Tainment.
I'm Lenora.
And I'm Dee.
And we're coming to you today in regards to everything entertainment as always. Yes, and so this week I wanted to start actually with a update and then, updated news, I guess I would say, and then get into my topic. But Queen Elizabeth passed away this week, and so I wanted to make sure that we at least acknowledged that on today's podcast. She had reigned for 70 years, almost 71.
Like our parents' entire life, she's been queen.
Yeah, exactly. It's like 1952, she became queen in September, they said. I guess, I didn't say what month. I'm sorry, February. And so if she had, I guess, made it till next February, then it would have been 71 years. Yeah. But they said it was 70 years, 214 days, the longest British monarch.
In history, probably.
Yeah, and the second longest recorded of any monarch of a sovereign country. So, so Queen Elizabeth II. So now we have King Charles.
That's so weird. I feel like I still gotta call him Prince Charles, like Upper Prince Charles. I feel like that's better than
73, and just got to be king.
Yeah.
And it's right. You just feel like,
you've been saying Prince Charles your whole life.
And
now you're going to be like, King
Charles. Yeah. And I think Camilla is going to be Queen Camilla.
What?
I think they did, it's not like the Queen did for her husband and he still had to be called Prince. I think that she gave the blessing that he could be, she could be, I guess have that title. I don't know. But I'm not all up on the British,
you know what I am up on?
What?
Let's talk about this. Have you seen what has been on social media since she's died?
I've seen a whole lot on social media.
Oh my God. Yeah. These people are ruthless.
They're going in.
Like somebody had like a TikTok and it was literally like, it was said, Aaliyah, Whitney Houston, Princess Diana, Michael Jackson, Prince, and like Luther Vandross all looking at the Queen like, oh, so what you said about our homegirl?
Oh, gosh. Oh, my goodness.
I'm like, wow, that's so crazy. It's like, people have been really going in about that.
Yeah, it's weird because while she was living, nobody seemed to really, it wasn't all this, vitriol about, the Queen and I hate her. And
Well, I think that it was, but nobody really said anything about it. Because she was not in the news, you know what I'm saying?
But she was. With Markle and Harry.
That's when people started
voicing
it.
Yeah, when she's in the news.
Yeah, but that's when people were just like, yeah, we don't like her.
Yeah, it's
I feel
weird.
Like
but she was the one who, from everything, all accounts, I guess, that was okay with their marriage and gave the blessing and was fine with all of the
they said something about the firm, so I don't know who the firm is.
That's all of the handlers probably, but so I don't know. And then maybe she felt a certain way and was like, in their face, I'll say this, and then behind the scenes we'll get the firm to tell them something different. I don't know.
But I know it's still a lot of things where like Ireland was like, where people were like, Ireland saying blah, 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 and I'm just like, what was it with Ireland that was so big that they didn't like the Queen like that?
I don't know.
It was like a meme of somebody of like a guard standing there and somebody's whispering to him and they're trying to keep like a straight face and it says the Irish military or something like that trying to keep a straight face when finding out the Queen died. I'm like, what is happening with Ireland? And
I swear I don't know enough. But I also know that there's certain places like Jamaica and things where they had British currency and they were, kind of under British rule.
Yeah, it was like that in Bermuda too. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And so things have come up now about should it continue to be under British rule? Should they be able to have their own?
Maybe it's because of that Brexit thing. That might be the thing. With Ireland, I'm saying.
Oh, I have no clue about what's going on with Ireland. But anywho, so I just wanted to at least acknowledge that she had passed away. There is a king now, which, again, I think, it typically felt like it feels like, we've only had queens. And it's like, no, of course, it's a patriarch. They always had kings.
Exactly.
With a queen here and there, kind of thing. So just because they said there's very few people who, remember a time before she was Queen Elizabeth.
Oh, yeah.
Like because when her father was,
Yeah, nobody remembers him. Like,
it's been, you'd have to be over 70.
Yeah, but I feel like people over 70 probably still was just like, who? Oh, yeah. His daughter, took over.
Exactly.
Like, they know all about her. I will say that they have Prince William is now Duke of something.
Duke's been a Duke forever.
No, he took over what Prince Charles was over.
Duke of Edinburgh?
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Okay.
Yeah. So
okay.
he took that over now.
It's got to be strange if you think about it. So I need to mourn my mother, mourn my grandmother, but at the same time step into a position of power over people with hundreds of millions of people where I am supposed to be or hundreds of millions of dollars, I meant to say, that I'm responsible for, and the people that you are, the sovereign ruler over. But like, how do you mourn and celebrate your new, because they're going to have something for King Charles. I can't even get it out.
Yeah, it's still Prince Charles. I know,
natural, but for King Charles to be, I don't even know what the right word is. I was going to say ordained, but that's like ministry. So to be lifted into sovereignty of this role, but at the same time, I'm sure they have to give it some time. Like, he's king now. They made him king immediately.
I thought I heard somebody say they have like 10 days of mourning.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I heard her funeral is going to be on the 19th of September. And then, which makes sense. That's about 10 days because she passed on the 8th. So so the 11th day is when, so 10 days of mourning, maybe 11th day of the actual funeral. And at some point I heard that it could be months though, before they actually have all of the grandness of putting Charles. And I mean, that's probably out of respect and things like that too, of, you can't celebrate next week.
Well, I would say this, I wonder if it's going to be harder for him to go from mourning into that role, because he's known his mother for 70 years, opposed to with Queen Elizabeth, she knew her father for 21 years, and it was like, oh no, now you're queen.
Mm-hmm. You had to jump right into
like,
it.
So
right
you
away.
just you have a how is that, like, you when you have your mother for longer, does that hurt more? Is it more like okay, she was getting up there in age, I already saw it's coming.
Yeah, we knew it was going to happen because she was 96. Yeah. So maybe, I don't know. I have no idea. So but
was she sick or anything? Like, I didn't even look into
Interestingly enough, they said she had just met the new prime minister. So that Boris, kind of stepped down, and they just brought in a female prime minister, and they had just met like 2 or 4 days before, shaking hands, camera, photo op, the whole 9 yards. She looked fine. The only thing that you could see was that there was a bruise on the back of her hand, like almost she got an IV drip or something.
Okay, yeah.
And how your hand can be bruised. So when she went to go shake her hand, you noticed the bruise. But other than that, I mean, she looked the same as she had always looked to me. But and then it makes you wonder.
But then, how good can you look at 96? You're 96.
I mean, Cicely Tyson looked amazing. So.
That's very true. But there's a difference.
Yeah,
melanin does cause a big difference.
But yeah, so I didn't see anything that alluded to that. But
she was still walking and everything, right? Mm-hmm. Never in a wheelchair, no walker.
Nope, not that I saw.
No.
I don't think a cane, anything, because I think she felt like, in other words, I don't know if she felt like she could have done something like that. Like, even if she needed a cane, would she have been able to use a cane as the queen, or is that going to be a sign of weakness?
I feel like if she was to fall, she had a pillow full of corgis around her feet.
Oh, the corgis. They're going to miss her
so
much.
Yeah,
I just thought about that. Yeah. But you do have a lot of people. I know there's memes and things going on about, British and them being, invaders and conquerors and all that kind of stuff. But there's still people. But at the same time, they are still British people who are truly in mourning over her, death and her being gone. And I know, it's one of those things that all of the opulence and money and gold and all that of it, it's almost like, has it just ran its course? Like, do we need a King Charles? Do we need a King William?
Yeah,
do we need all of this? Or is it just that it's all pomp and circumstance?
What do they do?
I have no idea, and I've watched every season of The Crown.
Yeah, it's like, but I'm saying, like, if you got the prime minister and parliament and everything, like, what are you there for? Just like a statue?
I mean,
you're kind of like a pillar.
You are the brand ambassador of the country.
So you're Big Ben.
Well, I mean, I think that you are helping to make certain decisions, just not political decisions. Okay. Maybe that's the best way to say it. Because they tried to stay, if I'm remembering correctly from the TV show, which is based on all fact, I know for sure. But I think that they're just trying to make sure that it is that certain political things they kind of stayed out of. They didn't want to be in the middle of one side versus the other. But then when it came to dignitaries and people that you're meeting with and exchanges with other countries and things of that nature, I feel like that's kind of when they got involved in, you have to go to Wales, you have to go to Scotland, you have to go to Ireland, you have to go out and see your subjects.
Yeah, the whole UK.
So,
I don't know. In America, it's weird because in America, we're just like, government has everything. Like, so, I mean, like, the Queen of the United States, what would that queen do? Like chill? Like, nothing? Like,
I don't know.
I mean, because I feel like with our government system, there's nothing that the queen would be actually, like, in charge of doing or overseeing. I feel like that wouldn't be a thing.
I don't know. I have no idea unless the queen were like the president and the parliament was like Congress and the Senate.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you're the face. You go out to the counties and the cities and the states and you meet.
But see, I thought so what the prime minister does.
The prime minister? I don't know. We've already talked about it for too long, and it's not even.
I'm gonna have to Google this. I'm gonna go down that rabbit hole.
Go down that rabbit hole. But I'll skip my first topic since we already spent 10 minutes on this.
Sure?
No. I'm gonna get back to another topic when I come back from you. So what do you have next, sis?
All right. So I want to talk about Me Time.
Me Time.
Me Time is a movie that is on Netflix.
Okay.
And this is a movie that has Kevin Hart, Mark Wahlberg, you've got Regina Hall,
I saw that one.
John Amos, who everybody knows him from Coming to America with the golden arch, not the golden arches. Mm-hmm. And then you also have Anna Maria Horsford, who was Thelma from Amen.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Those two are actually Regina Hall's mother in the show. But just a little backstory. So it's the story of a stay-at-home dad whose name is Sonny, who was played by Kevin Hart.
Okay.
Now his wife is the breadwinner, right? Her name is Maya, and that's Regina Hall. Now this is the thing, like, because she's the breadwinner, she's like a consultant or whatever, so she's always around millionaires. Mm-hmm. And they have two beautiful kids. They have a son and a daughter. The son is more so in the show than the daughter because there's a storyline behind that.
Okay.
All right. But I would say that with that whole storyline, the son Dashel, that's his name, Dashel.
That's the name.
Yeah, exactly. They call him Dash the whole time.
Oh, that makes more sense.
But so he's in love with comedy and comedians. When I say like his dad asked him, he was like, "Hey man, like you practice your piano?" He was like, "No, I just finished watching Eddie Murphy Delirious." It's
my goodness.
I don't think a 12-year-old should be watching Delirious.
Yeah, probably.
And then he's like quoting things from it. He's just like, "Boy, you're supposed to get back to it." But that whole thing with that storyline is that his father wants him to follow in his footsteps of playing the piano. Mm-hmm. So now that's that storyline where it's like he's trying to like force his son to do stuff.
Okay.
Like he's projecting or whatever. Mm-hmm. So now what ends up happening is that his friend Huck, was played by Mark Wahlberg. He comes, well, he doesn't come, but he hits him up and he was like, "Hey man, it's my 44th birthday. We're getting out. We're going to do this." And Sonny's like, "Yeah, absolutely not. Because we've been celebrating our birthdays together, like, since you were 6 years old. Like, we were in elementary school." And he was like, "But you always have some wild stuff going on." He's like, "I almost died last time.
Oh, gosh.
Not doing it this time." So, and then what ends up happening is his wife is like, "Hey, you know what, honey? Because you're stay-at-home dad and you're doing all this stuff, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go visit my parents. I'm taking the kids." That allows me to spend more time with the kids. And then you can have some me time.
Oh, nice.
So he's just like, "No, I can come." She's like, "No, you're going to stay here. You have me time, and I'm going to take the kids."
Right.
She was like, "Do something fun. Do something productive." And she's like, "Go out with Huck." He was like, "I'm not going out with him." Yeah, he ends up going out with him.
Oh, gosh.
So once he does go out with him, I'm going to tell you the things that happen. Okay, so I will just say this. I'm just going to mention some things. I'm not going to give up the whole storyline because I just got to mention some things. But like when him and Huck get together, everything, like he goes to surprise him. Everything just hits the fan. Everything goes crazy. So it's like a lion, Dorito, minus the O, left shoes, turtles, Amber Heard, and seal.
What?
Those are all things that have to do with like the last 30 minutes of the show, of the movie.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like if I go into it too much, then you're gonna be like, what?
Yeah,
but this,
it's
like, it's just
much,
like little things. It's the little things. So
got it.
when you watch it, you're gonna be like, wait, what? Oh, that's why. Okay, I got it. Okay,
Got
turtle.
it. It
Okay,
all start
Dorit,
coming
got
to-
it.
got
Okay,
it, coming together.
left shoes. I get it now.
Interesting.
But yeah, but no, it's funny. So I don't know if it was written by Kevin Hart or not, but whoever wrote it, it's like they wrote it for Kevin Hart.
Oh, okay.
Because
It's
he
his
played
tone.
he plays that person in like most of the stuff that he does. But I mean,
Yeah,
like
that sounds like him.
it's perfect for him.
Okay.
But yeah, but check it out. It is called Me Time on Netflix.
Okay.
It's hilarious.
Sounds
Did you say
good.
you already watched it? You haven't watched it?
No. I've seen the trailer for
Trailer,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I feel like this came out like last week or
Yeah, I
2
was
weeks
gonna
ago,
say,
something
I
like
feel
that.
it was recent.
Yeah. All right, so what you got next?
Yeah. I have next House of Hammer.
What?
The House of Hammer, which is the
The
Army
MC
Hammer.
Hammer? Oh, okay. I was like, because remember that whole
No.
scandal when he lost his house?
Oh no, I don't remember that. But House of Hammer, the Army Hammer story. So that is on Discovery Plus,
That's right, yeah.
and
I do wanna see it.
Is horrific.
I know, but I still want to see it. I want to
It
see how
is-
crazy this man was.
Insanity, the things that have happened on here. So there's a lot going on with this show. It's everybody on this show from King Charles now that he's called King. So King Charles and Diana and Reagan and Nixon and
Wow.
it goes far back and deep. And it's because Army Hammer is named after his great grandfather, Armand Hammer. So he is named after his great grandfather, and Army is the nickname for Armand. And so his great grandfather was a tycoon. Basically, he built this energy company, like it's called Occidental Petroleum. So basically, they made millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. Basically, I don't know if he was officially a billionaire,
Like oil
but
and gas
he was
and
yeah, but oil. Yep. And so basically, it's things like his great grandfather, built this oil business, but because he built it. And he was a kind of twisted person himself. Anything you did that was not in alignment with what he expected of you to do, you would get cut off. So basically, he would have people follow you. He would have your phones tapped. He would make sure everything is on the up and up, or else
Oh, J. Edgar Hoover.
everything gets cut off. So then Armand, had a son called Julian. And so Julian, I think it alludes to the fact that he might be bisexual, but he couldn't be bisexual because of the fact of his father and this and that. And his father and him never had a good relationship. His father had him when they were in like Russia or something like that. And his father always wanted to denounce that part of his life and his world and everything.
Okay.
So the son constantly reminded him of that. So he gave him a hard time, which made Julian give his children a hard time, which it just was this real trickle effect. But the whole show's premise is around how all these level of hammer men treated women like objects.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
They never really treated women with any level of respect or courtesy. I mean, they would beat their wives or they would cheat a lot or, you know what I mean? Cheating, that happens with regular people. It's not necessarily that.
Beating your wife happens with regular people, too.
This is true, unfortunately. But the other part to this is they would have like one of them would have huge cocaine parties and there'd be like 15, 16, 17, 18, 19-year-old girls there all in their house. But
with the
you're
Jeffy boy.
disposable, so it doesn't matter to me. The great-grandfather would have papers and documents and taps on people's phones in prominent positions, and therefore he would then control them like Epstein, you know?
Yeah, Jeffy boy.
He gave his money to so many political organizations for his own agenda. So it was basically Oh, you're running as a Republican? I'll give you my money so that you can push this agenda. Oh, you're running as a Democrat? I'll give you my money so that way you can get this agenda. His stuff away. So everything was for his own personal benefit, even though, exactly. And it's probably still going on today.
I'm sure
Who knows? So Army's scenario came up like 2020, 2021 time frame where a girl who just went by House of Effie posted something about Armie Hammer and how he was wanting to be a dominant. He wanted her to be submissive. He wanted to tie her up in a specific Japanese or Chinese rope tying ritual type thing. He wanted to eat her ribs. He called her kitten and like all these just weird, strange things that she put on there. And as more women read it, more women were like, oh my God, he wanted to do that to me. Oh my God, he was saying the same thing to me. Oh my God, like this is exactly the same things that he would say to me. So when he would be intimate with somebody, he would bite them and leave bite marks. He would bruise them up. He was always hitting people up in their DMs, basically. Yeah. And so what would happen?
Which my thing is, if you are that person, if you're the grandson of Armand Hammer, I would think that you would know, hey, I should not be texting people and having it in their DMs.
No, because you're the grandson of Armand Hammer and you have power and privilege.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
You can do what you want. So the documentary, it's a 3-part TV series documentary, I guess, and it goes into how Armand Hammer, I can't talk, helped his son get out of, doing police violations. How I think he killed somebody and how they paid money to pay, to take care of that. Okay. So it's so many levels to this. So
it's just like they think they can do whatever they want.
We can do whatever we want to do because we're rich and we're powerful and we have no consequences to our actions, right?
That's crazy.
It is. That's why I said the whole thing is very twisted and very deep. And so basically, it's an entire family of males. That's the thing. Yeah. It goes back to a great grandfather, to the grandfather, to the father, to then him. You know what I mean? So it's just so many levels to it. And so basically, what happened was Armie also had a Finsta account, like that fake Instagram account. And on there, he was even more insane. Like he would be literally drinking a beer while driving down crooked roads in California and videotaping it all. And he would walk into a hotel. You know, some people walk into a real nice hotel and they're taking video. Oh, here's the bathroom, here's the room, here's the bedroom. A woman was on all fours tied up on his bed. He's videoing her as he's like acting like, oh yeah, and then there's the bed, not saying anything about the woman. There's the bed. Oh, here's the patio. Here's this, here's that. And you see a woman on all fours in like lingerie and you're like, is he just going to ignore that is even happening?
Yeah. And is this supposed to be like a joke?
I think it's supposed to, like in his eyes, he's just like, oh yeah, it's just a bed, like cocky and arrogant. But at the same time, it's like you obviously are into some interesting and strange things if you have a woman who can't do anything but stay right there until you tell her to move and be on all fours on your bed. You know what I mean? Weird. So what it came across as is that he would find women who were on like an Instagram and he would look at their pictures. He was almost grooming, right? So it's like, oh, I see your pictures. I see that you talked about at some point, tragedy in your life, things that have happened to you, whatever the case may be. And then he would feed off of that. And the women would be like, wait, this blue check Armie Hammer is reaching out to me? Like, oh my God, what's so special about me? So then they would engage and he would come back and he would flirt and, they would talk back and forth. And then all of a sudden his tweets, his DMs and everything just got a little more twisted. Then a little more twisted. And then he's like, oh, here's my favorite movie. It's about a secretary who's dominated by her boss.
Oh, that's a movie called Secretary. Right?
Yep, exactly. So he was like, so every single woman, he was like, you should check that out. You should look at that movie because that's what he wanted to do to them.
Shout out to Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Yep, Maggie Gyllenhaal was in that one. And so anyway, it's just, I barely touched the surface by talking about what I've talked about to this point, but they have basically not only to women, women who have been in relationships with some of the Hammer men, I guess I'll say it that way, but they have also have the aunt So Army Hammer's aunt was like, I was not even remotely surprised when these stories came out. She's written a book about the family history, and she's on this documentary, and she said people have even told her, like, watch your back.
Yeah, she's going to get killed. Doesn't she know this?
Like, well, I think she feels like, number one, I'm putting it out here, so if anything happens, here's the people to look for and to go to.
True, yeah.
Because she does talk about how her brother not really threatened her, but just basically was like, look, you really need to, you know,
like, chill out.
Realize what you're saying and what you're doing here, and that it's not good for the family, you know, kind of thing. And then, but she talks about how men in her family and what happened with her and different, I mean, it's just this twisted, slippery, crazy situation. And it starts off about Army a little bit, but then it just goes back into all the family history. And it's basically the aunt saying it's a generation of evil men is the way the aunt basically says it.
Yeah. Because they probably groomed the men into being
womanizers, evil,
like, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. This is how you get away with it.
Yeah, exactly. So, and it's, crazy. I mean, anytime he would say things like, I want to cut off your ribs, and like literally he was getting ready. It sounded like there was going to be a surgery with one girl where he was going to basically try to take her ribs and eat them. He wanted to eat her ribs. Like, basically that's what he said. And he was like, I'm a cannibal. You know, he just, he would look for vulnerable, impressionable women. He would try to basically start off small, then grow into all of his, you know, twisted behavior. And but they berated women. They belittled women. They treated them as they were disposable. They only used them for their own pleasure, and then they kind of got rid of him. And one of them, I can't remember if it's the father or the grandfather, I don't know, he got caught cheating, right? Mm-hmm. And so the wife, it was the grandfather, Armand. So she had the money at the time. She was helping to funnel him becoming this really super rich person. So he married this older than him, I think, woman who had a lot of money. And then lo and behold, she finds out he's cheating. He, instead of cutting it off or anything like that, he convinces the woman to change her looks, blonde her hair, change her name legally, so that way it looked like he wasn't with that woman anymore. Like, it was basically like, oh, honey, you're saying that I shouldn't be with Lenore. Oh, there's no Lenore anymore now. You know, this is my secretary, Joanna Smith or whatever. And it's like, oh, that's a whole new woman. And so he literally had so much power and control over this woman that she changed everything about herself to be with him, even though he was never going to be with her fully.
That's scary.
That's the kind of manipulation that this family did. Oh my God. It's a deep and slippery slope, but I, looked into quite a few things, but they were it just sounds like a very horrible family.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. Yeah, I didn't even know that was like a thing that you could talk someone into, like doing like face off and changing their whole appearance.
Yeah, like they just said that she did different things to like make herself look like an entirely different person. I'm sure he would pay for any surgery or anything like that.
He was using her money, won't he?
No, I'm saying that this is not the wife. This is the side chick that he did all that.
He told her to do all of that.
Yeah. So that the wife couldn't recognize that the next woman that he saw her walking down the street with was the same one that he had been having the affair with. It's like, oh no, this is a whole other woman. This is somebody else. Like, if you ever see me with this person, this is her name, and here's her driver's license. Like, she changed her whole identity and way she looked for him.
He had money.
He's never going to be with her. So those are the kind of things. You were here for my pleasure, and
but why would you? I feel like if you were a rich person and women were disposable, like, why would you tell a woman to do that? You can just be like, get rid of her and get another side piece.
Because he wanted her.
He wanted that
for whatever reason.
She's probably into it.
Whatever he was into. Yeah. Exactly.
She's probably like cutting off like her pinky toe and like feed it to
but
him.
I don't know if Armand was like that. I'm just saying that
if he was just like a womanizer or whatever. Yeah, okay.
Was like that. So I didn't get anything from any of the previous Hammermen that they were cannibals or anything like that, but I definitely got that from
I saw
Army.
Where they said that it was a girl who had said that Army had said to her, I want to like pull your heart out and like hold it while it stops beating, and then he said that he had
eat it raw. He had already eaten something.
He'd already killed an animal and like cut their heart out and eaten it raw.
Yep.
That's a lot.
Yep. They cover all those
mental
things
health is a thing
in the documentary. So, yep. And so far, he's been canceled. All of his movies and things have all been done. I think the last thing he did was Call Me By Your Name.
Oh, that was his last one. I know he did that one, and then he did the
He might have done
RBG.
something
He had
else.
the RBG.
Yeah. Was that after? I
don't
might
know.
have been. But anyway.
No, it might have been before. I don't know for sure.
Yeah,
It was
I
probably
just
around
know
the same time.
that he started with The Social Network, being the brothers, the twin
twins.
brothers, and then right now he's kind of persona non grata.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense though.
Yes,
You're going around trying to eat people.
Exactly. But I just wonder if criminal charges might come into play because of the fact that he. It was just very, I don't know, it was very R. Kelly-esque. The things that I was hearing and seeing in the documentary, very much the manipulation, the what do you call it when you stop somebody from leaving a room and stuff like that? Like you're holding them against their will. Yeah. Those kind of things. Like some of that
kidnapping.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
I would say like once when I was looking at like a little clip of it, and as soon as they said that he was like raised in the Cayman Islands, I knew that his family was like.
Yeah, because they were like, why did his father move to the Cayman Islands?
Yeah, because what do you do in the Cayman Islands? Usually that's where rich people put their money, so the government can't touch it.
Right, exactly.
So that's why I was like, oh yeah, as soon as you said as soon as they said like he was growing up in the Cayman Islands, I was like, yeah, he definitely comes from a family that they just get away with stuff.
And then I, being naive, I always thought Armie Hammer was from the Arm and Hammer, that was where they made their money, like from like a Procter and Gamble kind of thing.
Exactly. But
realizing it was something.
No, his name is Armand, not Armand.
Right. Not Armand. Yeah, and I knew it was Army, but I just figured Army is a good cute play on Arm and Hammer, like Arm and Hammer. You know what I mean? But
that's what I thought too.
Yeah, but no, and I think that he felt like I'll get more acting jobs not being Armand, because then that makes me sound very diverse, as opposed to being Army. Oh, I look like a white guy.
Where were they from?
I think it was Russia.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's Russia or somewhere like that. I can't even remember. Oh, yeah, and there's communist stuff in there about starting communist parties in America. There's a whole family history of a lot of different things. So, yeah, but anyway, that's it. House of Hammer on Discovery Plus, and it's twisted.
Okay, I believe that.
That's all I can say. All right, back to you, sis.
All right, so I want to talk about She-Hulk Attorney at Law. Okay.
Sorry. And I love Tatiana.
Yeah. She-Hulk Attorney at Law. Okay. First episode, amazing.
Okay.
Loved it. End of the first episode, I was ready to turn it off and not turn it on ever again.
So 95% great. 5%, what the heck?
It should be a cartoon. It's like an adult cartoon.
Like Adult Swim.
Yeah, kind of stuff. So this is why. Okay. So I'm pretty sure people have known all about this. This is part of the Marvel universe, Marvel Cinematic Universe.
MCU.
So, all right. So who you have is playing the attorney at law, She-Hulk, is Tatiana Maslany. She is a great actress.
Yep, amazing.
Yeah, we love her.
Orphan Black.
Yeah. And she's playing Jennifer Walters, who ends up being the cousin to Mark Ruffalo's character, who is the Incredible Hulk, or Bruce Banner. So, this is some weird stuff that happens. Okay. So, Jennifer Walters is cousin of Bruce Banner, They get into a car accident. I don't know. They're driving somewhere.
Okay.
They get into a car accident. He's starting to bleed. Now, Bruce Banner has made this device, this entrapment that he can put on his arm that go ahead and can watch his vitals so he doesn't turn into the Hulk.
Gotcha.
So he has it under control. Because he says every time he turns to the Hulk, it's a different Hulk. It could be Hulk Smash or the Smart Hulk.
Oh,
he doesn't know.
Hulk Smash.
Yeah. So basically what ends up happening is when they get into this car accident, well, actually this spaceship just shows up in front of them while they're driving down some rural highway. And right when they go to stop, I guess the force field around the spaceship, I don't know, because it doesn't really show it was a car accident, but it doesn't show that the car hit it. But it also doesn't show that the car didn't hit it. They just show the car rolling down the hill. So now Bruce Banner's his little thing that he has on his wrist is broken.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't know if
he's bleeding. So, and he's like basically like semi unconscious. So now, Jennifer gets out of the car. She's like, Bruce, are you okay? As she goes to pull him out of the car, he's like, get away from me. I'm bleeding. And as she's going to help him, she gets some of his blood in her.
Gotcha.
So he's like, get away from me. And as he's saying that, he's turning into the Hulk. And then she's like, okay. So then she goes to run because she knows she has to get away from the Hulk because the Hulk smash can't control himself.
Yeah, exactly.
He don't know anything. He just
and she knew her cousin was the Hulk all along. It's not like he's a secret identity.
Yeah, the whole time, the whole was it like I think the first 2 episodes that I saw, like, well, no, I would say this: the very first episode, she is talking about Captain America the entire time.
Okay.
It does have some sentimental moments in there where you have Bruce Banner talking about, well, actually, yeah, I think he's Smart Hulk then. Okay. But he's talking about how him and Tony Stark like made different things and how they were so close. You know, how they were good friends. And you get that little sentimental moment, and then it gets like interrupted with something like off the wall, crazy, stupid, but it makes it funny. But anyway, so as she starts to run away, now she is slowly turning into a She-Hulk. And she doesn't remember anything. So now she falls asleep. She comes back. Like, I don't know if she falls asleep, but she passes out. She comes to. She's like in the middle of the woods, away from the car accident. Okay. I don't know why she didn't just. See, this is the thing that kind of gets me. She just came to in the middle of the woods and then decided to, like, walk straight to a bar.
As a Hulk?
No, just
she's herself.
Yeah, she's herself now. She walks straight to a bar as like herself, but she doesn't like where is Bruce?
Yeah, where's Bruce? Where's my cousin? What's happening?
Nothing. Like she just runs.
Like she just doesn't remember.
So now, I don't know if she remembers or what, but now she's inside of the bar. She's talking to people and everything. Now, she does end up getting a phone, calling Bruce. Bruce is like, "Okay, I'm coming to pick you up."
Okay.
Well, actually, she doesn't call. She calls somebody. You can't tell who it is that she's called. So while she's waiting outside for someone to come pick her up, these guys are like trying to hit on her. And she's like, no, I'm good. Like, all right, leave me alone. Yeah. So every time she gets anxious, there's anxiety. She-Hulk.
She-Hulks.
Yeah. When she gets like angry, anxious, anything like that, she is She-Hulk. So now get this. He pulls up and like just happens to stop her. Like, Bruce pulls up, just happens to stop her right when she's about to rip these guys' heads off.
Oh, Lord.
Because they're looking down at her because she's probably like 5'2".
Right.
And then she gets, like, anxious, and then now she's turned into this
she's
big,
starting to grow.
Angry, and they're all looking at her, and she was like, I said, like, back off or something like that. And now they're all freaking out. He's like, hey, guys, hey, sorry, all right, get in the car.
Yeah.
So now it's like that whole thing. This is the first episode, so now you're starting to get to understand.
Yeah,
this.
get your bearings.
Bruce is like explaining stuff to her. He's Smart Hulk, so he's just like, hey, look, and no, this is gonna suck. Just gonna let you know, my blood got into yours.
Yep,
you're gonna be like this. And she's like, all right, when does it wear off? He was like, the rest of your life. So now she's like freaking out and everything, and he's like, okay, look, me and Tony made this thing together. Let's go ahead and get you to where you can understand. Like, if you can control going into She-Hulk and getting out of it.
Yeah.
So he puts her in, like, all these different contraptions. And, like, now she's, like, angry. Like, he has this thing that's, like, these blades that are about to cut her. Like, there's this, like, it's a wall that's coming in on her, and the blade's about to cut her. And she's like, okay, Bruce, you can stop. Bruce, stop. Yeah. Bruce, stop. And then next thing you know, like, the thing is getting, like, crunched into pieces, and, like, she's shoving it back. And he's just like, wow, that's amazing. And then you see her just turn around and look at him. And she's supposed to be, like, in this Hulk-proof room.
Yeah.
She busts the door and chucks the door at him, and he, like, kind of moves. He's just like, all right, whoa, girl. Hey, okay, all right, whoa. Yeah. And then all of a sudden she goes, why are you talking to me like I'm a horse? Right, exactly. He's just like, wait, are you still in there? And she's like, yeah.
So she's still aware when she's angry, where he doesn't remember anything when he's angry. Okay, cool.
So, I mean, but then it goes into like him now being butthurt because of the fact that she can still be herself and be a Hulk, where he had to struggle with for 15 years and trying to figure out how he would be able to be Bruce Banner and control when the Hulk comes or which Hulk is going to come and all this other stuff. And he's like, I can't control it, but you clearly can. Like, I don't understand that.
Yeah.
So but he's like, I mean, when
she can control herself much longer than he could. Like he's been Hulk forever.
So that was the thing. He was like, so like, how is it that you control it? Like, all right, so do you think about this? Blah blah. Like, what thoughts do you think about? She was like, that's what women think about every day. She was like, being hit on when you don't want to be hit on, being like groped for no reason, like
all those
being talking down to.
Happen.
She's like, that's a woman every day. He's like, okay.
So men don't have to deal with those same stressors.
Exactly.
That women have
so
to deal
then
with,
it's like
she's been immune.
Yeah.
Got it.
So now it's basically him just trying to show her the ropes, showing her around and everything. I love this whole setup. It gets you in.
Okay.
It sucks you into the show.
She-Hulk,
you're loving it because
Attorney at Law.
because he's like, I'm gonna show you how to like throw this boulder. So he gets a boulder and he throws it, and then she's like, okay, and then she throws it like 500 yards farther than him. Now he's butthurt again. Yeah. Now he wants to pick up a bigger boulder and throw it. And then she's just like, all right, whatever. So she just like skips off, and then he's like getting her to like learn how to jump. You can jump and like hit your fist down on the ground. You don't have to hurt anybody. He was like, you're going to be a superhero now. If you want to do it or not, I'm going to show you these things. You don't have to physically hurt someone. You can just literally like hurt them with like the force field of the power from your
hit.
Yeah. So he jumps up, slams on the ground in like the superhero pose, you know, the three finger like superhero pose. And then she does it and trees are falling. And like half of the mountain is falling, and she's just like, got it. And she's like wiping her hands like this.
So she's stronger than him.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But she's tinier than him, which is so funny. But then he just like, and then he just pushes her off of the ledge. And then she like flicks him off and she comes down and then she jumps back up. She was like, that's real mature.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my
so
goodness,
it's so they got that little thing going back and forth.
Cousin rivalry.
Yeah. But he's still trying to get her to stay around. She wants to go back to society. He's still trying to get her to stay there. He's like, come on, just stay here a little while longer. You have to know how to like control yourself.
It,
And she's like, she's like, I'm already stronger than you. I'm already faster than you. I'm smarter than you. Like, it's fine. I got this. I have a whole life to get to. She said, your life is the Avengers and your life is Hulk. Your life is science. My life is I'm an attorney. That's how I make my living.
Go into a courtroom.
Yeah. So then he's like trying to stop her. Then they get into this massive fight and then she ends up beating him up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then like they're like yelling at each other, like screaming at, like roaring at each other basically. But it's so funny how it just makes it. I like how they made it to where she is like stronger than him mentally and physically.
Yeah.
And
which some people will say, "Oh, it's so woke." Why is that the case? There was never a She-Hulk that was stronger than a Hulk. But anyway, you know, it's just like how people are like, "Why are there black people in the Game of Thrones?"
Yes,
you know,
exactly. Same thing.
Yeah.
So then, basically, it's now her just being like, "Look, I'm sorry, but I gotta go. I still have a life." She goes. She leaves. She gets back to her normal life.
Okay.
She tells one of her best friends about it. Boom. Tells her best friend about it. Her best friend's like, okay, cool, got you. Now she's in the courtroom. And she's like about to deliver like her closing statements. Mm-hmm. And as she's getting ready to get up to deliver her closing statements, a villain pops into the courtroom where she's at. Because it just happened to be
her courtroom that the villain comes into.
In all of the states. In all of the USA.
And all the courtrooms in that court.
In all the cities, the counties. Like, you should...
It's a magical, mystical world.
But
I'm just need to go with it.
But then what is cute is that what makes it cute is that after that happens and like the villain just shows up, she does end up just being like her friend's like, you have to like do the thing. She's like, I can't do the thing. She's like, do the thing. So then once she does and becomes the Hulk, she stops the lady from like hurting the jewelry because some reason the villain wants to hurt the jewelry. I don't know why. So now that she stopped that, she's like throwing the lady out, and then finally she's like back to her human self. She was like, now to continue what I was saying, and like then it goes to black. So she's like supposed to be still
and this is all the first episode.
All the first episode.
Okay. Yeah. Not even the whole season.
Just the first episode. But I like the setup. The setup of it is good. The setup of it is the best part so far. Granted, it's 9. I think it's 9 or 10 episodes.
Okay.
But we're only on like episode 4.
Oh, because it's released once a week.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
But still, at the same time, that first episode like made me want to love this show.
Okay.
And now I'm kind of like,
I could take it or leave it.
Yeah.
All right.
Because if it was one of those shows that you want to really watch, you're like, man, what day is it come on? It's coming on today. Oh,
I'm gonna watch it when it comes on. Yeah.
But now I'm just kind of like, oh yeah, that's right, it did come on.
Yeah. Let me go check it out. Maybe.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, if you want to check it out, check it out. You know,
She-Hulk,
Attorney at Law on Disney. But if you don't want to check it out, you won't. I'm pretty sure she's not going to show up on any other show or movie or anything because I don't know. Like, what would she be with? Like Ant-Man or doing something? Like I feel like she's not going to be with any of the Avengers or anybody who did like a big show besides the Hulk. Yeah. So I feel like she's not going to show up on any movies.
Maybe if he had his own movie come out, then she would be.
I feel like it's kind of like how Moon Knight was. Moon Knight, I don't think he's going to be on anything other movies
else.
or
it's
nothing
just a
like
standalone,
that. It's a standalone thing. So you can take it or leave it. It's not going to mess up your cinematic journey.
Okay. Sounds
All
good.
Right, so check it out or don't.
All right. Or don't. Yeah. So I have next Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul.
Hey, amen. All right.
And that's on Peacock. And so you have a pastor who is Pastor Lee Curtis Childs, and that's played by Sterling K. Brown.
Yeah.
And you have his wife, Trinity Childs, who is played by, oh gosh, I didn't
Regina
put down
Hall.
her name.
That's
Right,
what
Regina Hall.
We had two Regina Halls this week.
Exactly. Regina Hall. And they are the pastor and first lady of the Wander the Great Path Baptist Church, right? Yeah. So Wander the Great Path Baptist Church is their church. And so it just starts off with this TV crew starting to follow this first lady and pastor around, and you find out it is because of alleged sexual misconduct that took place within the church. So they pretty much lost their congregation. Now, what I found out since then from my girl Janella, shout out Janella, is that this is supposed to be based on the story of like Eddie Long.
Bishop Eddie
Long. So Bishop Eddie Long always was in the pulpit saying one thing, but then outside doing another. The reality of the world is something else was going on. So therefore, that's kind of where this takes place. So the church has basically been closed for a while because of the sexual misconduct. And, there's a settlement that's on the table during this movie. And, which basically means that they could potentially be paying these people off to kind of just keep it from going to court, which sometimes means you're guilty. You never know. And so the camera crew is following them around and while they're trying to rebuild their image, they're kind of, doing things that they shouldn't be doing in front of a camera. They aren't even realizing how they are looking in front of the camera because they have been this first lady and pastor and, have their private jets and their Prada and their Gucci and this and, Dolce Gabbana, blah, blah, blah. So they've always had so much in excess that they're literally showing on the TV screen even like, oh, here's our Prada outfit and, oh, show the matching whatever shoes. And it's like all these different things that they're doing that are basically so they are almost trying to come across as being relatable, but they're not. They're just so unwoke, I guess is the best way to say it. So they're totally clueless to the fact that they are actually showing as rich people who probably have taken care of their parishioners. And so the movie, if you are a Baptist, Christian, Protestant, whatever, person who, fully believes that, preachers should be on a high pedestal, then this possibly will tick you off because the way this movie is written, they're cursing.
It's not a possibility. It will tick you off.
It will tick off some church folk. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's going to probably do that. And so if you put your pastor on a pedestal, you'll look at this and see some elements that might remind you of your pastor and other elements that you're like, Lord knows, I hope this isn't my pastor. But they'll curse, they'll be mean and degrading to people. They're it's just, it kind of goes all around the place. And it kind of shows the extremes, I guess you would say. Because when I looked at it, I could see, once my friend told me about Bishop Eddie Long, I was like, okay, I can see that element of it. You can see some Joel Osteen elements of it. Yeah. You can see, like, because there's like this big mega church, and it's all these people.
House, what's his name?
T.D. Jakes. Yeah, but I mean, it's like, so it's some good things that are coming out of the church. It's some positivity. They have competition right in the same area. So then when things fall apart, well, then guess what? Our church is more than willing to help and take care of some of your parishioners and help out, you know, so that kind of thing. And it's like, you're kind of trying to act like you're their friend, but you're really not. Because you know,
it's like nice, nasty, but it's more, it's like hateful. Nice, hateful.
Yeah, exactly. Because even when they're talking to each other, sometimes it's like, "Oh yes, sister, such and such. Now, didn't you leave our church?" Yes, I did. Yeah. You know, I just couldn't have my good image tainted by the soils.
Yeah, and they're just like smiling and giggling the whole time. I'm just like,
"Oh, you know,
stop being fake."
Yeah, are you still filing for bankruptcy?
Yeah, exactly. You know? Like, why don't you just which I don't understand. Why do that? Why don't you just be like, "Hey, look, I left your church because you was jacked up."
Yeah, exactly. There's things going on. So I won't give away what the sexual misconduct allegations are, if they're true, if they're not true, you know, anything to that effect. But basically, they are trying to, throughout this show, figure out how they can get their church parishioners back. So honking for Jesus to save your soul is basically them standing on the side of the road in front of the church, trying to have their opening day, which was supposed to be Easter Sunday. But then that other church next door or nearby also had something going on Easter Sunday. So that's another thing. But just, you know, holding up signage and honking for Jesus and all that. And then you just realizing the sacrifice. Like, I knew my whole life I could never be a preacher's wife. Like, to me personally, the sacrifice.
Me either. Just imagine that, me sitting up there with like a pantsuit on, just be like, "You better preach, bruh."
I can't even imagine it.
Go ahead, bruh.
Right. But it's like one of those things where there's a sacrifice. There's a sacrifice to the relationship because, like, say, for example, I just fussed at you last night. I don't want to look at you. I don't want to talk to you, but I got to sit here in this church and smile and say everything you're saying is the most amazing thing because you're the pastor of this church and I have to fake like everything's okay. And so, and if I don't show up, then, well, where's First Lady? What's going on? Is everything okay? You know, she not sick, is she? She all right? And y'all got problems? You know, because you just know people are going to be all in your business. So to me, it's a sacrifice, you know, for the greater good of the people.
Yeah, and the stuff that she had to do, that he asked her to do.
The things that he asked her to do were so belittling and degrading, and it's like everything in this. My everything I'm talking about, other than the Queen, is probably belittling. But yeah, so it was just some really things that you should not ask a first lady to do.
I mean, I feel like it's the things that you shouldn't ask anyone to do. Period. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, in regards to this is your wife, this is somebody like if you wanted somebody to do these things, just hire somebody to do some of these things. You know what I mean? And they're not sexual things. I guess I should say.
Yeah, it's not sexual. It's like entertainment things.
It's like but it's like
things to try to bring people into the church. Right. But it's like, bro, you can pay people to do that.
Exactly. So therefore, I don't know. It's almost like at the end you do get a feeling that maybe she's coming to an awareness. Maybe that's what you can say.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But and that's not really giving anything away of the whole movie because you're aware the entire time. You're just wondering when is everybody else going to be aware of what's going on. So anyway, it's called Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul.
I will say something. The baptism scene.
Yes.
Okay, first of all, when he was standing there with his 5 little parishioners, right?
Okay, so those were his steady and true, did not leave the church.
Yeah, it was 5, right? Well, 5 including his wife.
Just imagine, you had the couple,
it was 5.
You had the one guy, you had the wife and her son. Yeah, so it's 5,
so it's 5, 9 including his wife.
And they were the ones who stayed. Yeah, everybody else might have gone, but we gonna stay tried and true.
And then the way that little girl was like, I love the theater.
Yes.
That killed me because I was like, that little girl going somewhere. She going somewhere in life.
It was so funny because they were basically like, you know how people will sometimes do in church and hoop and holler and feet are moving and all that kind of stuff. And her response to that was like she was doing it.
She was doing it. She was singing a song and everything.
And doing this and da-da-da.
Doing a little shout.
And next thing you know, she's like, I love the theater. So it's like, I wasn't feeling anything. I just feel it was very theatrical, so I just kind of was entertaining myself.
But when they couldn't get amen or amen.
Yeah, the amen or amen. I thought we agreed to amen. It's supposed to be amen.
It's like,
we really need to move to the 21st.
And I'm like, bro, there are cameras watching you this whole time. Is this supposed to be an actual church there? Was that supposed to be an actual?
And why did he have to get naked?
Okay, yeah. Don't be standing at the altar asking people, like to come up for prayer or whatever. And then as you talk, everybody's standing there.
Just taking a
but look, as he's doing it, his wife has her eyes closed. She has her hands up, like praising God. She's swaying back and forth. And then she opens her eyes and she sees him. She's like, "Oh, what? Oh!" She walks around like, yeah. He's taking his shirt off, and I'm like, that. And this is before you even find out what the sexual allegations are.
Right, exactly.
So I'm just like, was he like doing stuff in front of the congregation?
It's crazy.
But oh my God,
it's all extremes. Like
it's a parody. It's a parody,
and that's what I hope that people who are, like those folks that put, their pastors on a pedestal and stuff, that they just realize, like, okay, this is a parody. This is the extreme.
Exactly.
Like, this is a lot.
Yeah.
Like, even if your pastor did all of this, you'd probably be looking for another church yourself.
Absolutely. Well, I don't know, because some people love their pastor more than they love their own family.
Or you're going to be 5 parishioners.
Yeah,
you're
that's true.
One or the other. So you're going to be the hundreds that left or thousands that left, or you'll be.
But the thousands that left, they actually went to another place that was the person was going to do the same thing.
Yeah, I think that because this is a Jordan Peele movie that is.
Oh, it's Jordan Peele? Okay.
And so I think that is.
I love that he's making fun of like how his childhood was.
Yeah, I think that is kind of what his take on it is that if you leave one, you go to another.
It's still
it might be a little better, but it might also
in
be
the end it's it's going to be the same.
So it's just like you just got to find You got to find what works for you.
Yeah.
I guess that's the best way to say
it. Yeah. Regina Hall, when they call her Trin, when he kept calling her Trin.
Yeah.
One thing that she said that I was just like, wow, I wonder how many first ladies are actually like this. Because, there are some first ladies who are just like, no, I'm not sitting up there. No, I don't want all this attention. Like, leave me out of this. But when she said, excuse me, I'm sorry, I just burped. But when she said, get me back on that pulpit.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, so she's like...
She want the power.
She want the power. She don't care about the man. She just wants the attention.
She wants that
now,
power.
when she got that hat, she got to wear them church hats and all this other stuff. I'm like...
And he was like, you look old.
But why would you... My thing is, I don't understand, like, why are you buying church hats that cost so much?
Because she's not aware. Like, she's so not... They're both unaware. Yeah. That's why they showed their whole closet.
It's so crazy. Yeah, because, basically, what it is like... When there are churches that are like that, I feel like it is mainly... you are a celebrity in the church community... Where you go places, everybody's gonna know your name. Everybody's gonna see you, like you see a movie celebrity. That's the only difference. Jesus is the only difference in between those.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of times, those types of churches draw people who are like how they are. They're materialistic and talking about their jets and their this and their Bugattis and their Mercedes and stuff. And when you pull into that church parking lot, maybe that's what you see is a whole bunch of other cars and things like that for the parishioners. And hey, whatever works for people works for people. That's neither here nor there for me to decide. But this movie just shines a light on some interesting things. And like I said, it seems to be based on some things that did actually happen, but just to the extreme.
Yeah, to the extreme.
To the extreme.
Like what your imagination would think that happened in the background, like in the behind the scenes. Yeah. All
right. Well, that was my last one. What you got, Sis?
All right. So this is my last one. I'll make it quick because I was excited to see the movie. Then I watched it. Today was like a lot of. Today was a day of like this movie was really good. You go see it, and then it was like, you can look at this show if you want to or not. This is a movie. You can look at it if you want to or not. Okay. There's like 75 of these movies. I'm talking about Jurassic World Kingdom.
Okay.
Jurassic World Dominion.
Dominion.
Okay. So you got Chris Pratt. Mm-hmm. You got Bryce Dallas Howard, which a lot of people may or may not know her. Then you have Laura Dern from the original. Yeah. You got Sam Neill from the original. You got Jeff Goldblum
The Bloom.
The Bloom from the original. And then you had this young actress, Isabella Sherman, who I think she might have been in the last one. I can't remember if she was. I believe she was in the last one. Anyway, but basically it's just about it's like picking up after the Isla Nublar or whatever. It's like an island or whatever. So the island had a whole bunch of like dinosaurs and stuff on it. That island's now destroyed. All right, so now the old cast and the new cast is coming together, but they're coming together for these dinosaurs. These dinosaurs are now cohabitating with humans.
Yeah, because I walked by
right?
and saw there was like, I don't know, what are the ones? Pterodactyls landing on top of like.
Oh, and that's another thing. It's not even the regular names of dinosaurs that we know. There are dinosaurs that I was like, I don't know these names, and I'm pretty sure you don't know these names. I set up, our nephew Gavin probably does know these names, but I'm just, but I'm like, what the, like, why is that dinosaur's name 35 letters long?
Mr. Snuffleupagus.
Yeah, is it? Yeah. But basically, all right, so the new cast and old cast comes together. It's kind of neat how they did it. How they had a couple of scenes where Sam Neill and Chris Pratt kind of like say the same things at the same time because they are kind of like the new version and the old version of each other. That's kind of cute. Where it's just like nobody move, and then both of them like looking at each other like, "Oh, you know what I know."
Yeah.
Okay, good. But the only difference is not only are they trying to save dinosaurs, now they're also trying to save this one little girl, and her name is, I think it's Maisie. Okay. She's a clone. Okay. Her mother cloned her.
All right.
So her mother it's not really her mother. The woman who raised her is actually her.
Oh, she cloned herself.
Yes.
Oh, is this a spoiler?
No, it's not a spoiler at all.
Oh, okay.
I don't believe it's a spoiler. If it is, oh well. But the fact is that they're just trying to keep her safe and keep her out, but then they kidnap her and a dinosaur. So now it's just like, okay, now we have to go get this little girl and we have to go get this dinosaur and make sure this dinosaur is safe or whatever. But I will tell you this. I wish that the how they did the CGI to human ratio was a lot better, because if you're supposed to be hiding behind a car so the dinosaur doesn't see you,
right,
and then let's say you're on the passenger side of the car, if this big-tailed dinosaur is looking at the front of the car, he's going to see you on that passenger side because he's looking directly at the driver's side, like the front of the car. He can see you on the side. And then once he goes to lean, then everybody starts to move. Why are you moving?
Yeah,
if he's leaning, but I'm saying like he's leaning towards you, and now you're gonna move. Right. You didn't want to move when he was leaning the other way. Right. You want to wait till he's looking directly at you.
To go to your direction, or you could just roll under the car.
Yeah. That's the one thing that I did not like. I was just like, bro, come on. And then like, can dinosaurs see it or can they not see? I don't get it.
I guess they can see.
I mean, yeah, but I was just like, don't move. Because if you don't move, then it can't see you.
Oh, gotcha.
But then when it gets right in front of you, everybody starts to run. How are you going to say, nobody move? Right. And then right when it goes right to move a car, it's like, everybody run. Yeah. What? How? Make that make sense to me. So that was the one thing that I was just like, bro, the CGI to the human ratio, when you're doing the movie and you have that little stick with the
green background,
you get the green background, but you have a stick with a tennis ball on it, and the tennis ball is supposed to be the big dinosaur. Maybe you should act like it's actually like the dinosaur and move.
Maybe put a big dinosaur head on the tennis ball. They have
the dinosaur blow up outfits. Put that in the thing. You know what I'm saying? Paint it green. Put somebody in there. Rawr. It doesn't matter. But I will say this. The director needs to know, all right, so when we're making the movie, if they're going to lean this way, then we need to go this way.
Yeah, exactly. I get it.
That's the only thing that kind of like frustrated me. So there's like the CGI, the human setup, I didn't like it. The whole like, can the dinosaur see or not? But it did give me a lot of the Indiana Jones vibes. Okay. Only there was no crystal skull. It was just dinosaurs and a little girl that you were getting. Okay, gotcha. So it's kind of a meh, you know.
Okay. Is it super long?
I felt like it was like 9 hours.
Oh God!
I watched it. I watched it. Yeah. I think it was like something like that. But I watched it in like within 3 days. I'll tell you that.
Well, your ADHD would only allow you.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, like I didn't watch other movies for that long, but I mean, but this one was kind of like I'm watching it, and then something like I get a text message from somebody that sends me a TikTok. Now I'm watching the TikTok.
Yeah, and then you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna stop the movie."
Yeah, I'm like, "All right, let me stop the movie." 45 minutes later, I'm
You're
like, all
on
right, let me
TikTok.
go ahead and rewind this a little bit so I can watch what the movie was doing or whatever.
Yeah, I get you. I'm the same.
But
sometimes, so.
yeah, but it just it did not hold my attention
As much
like
as
as the other ones did. Like even Jurassic World, the original one, like Jurassic Park held my attention.
Yeah.
Jurassic World held my attention. All the other ones that were in between those, because I want to say it's like 6 of them. No.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park, yes. Jurassic Park 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5.
15.
No. Jurassic World, what it? Jurassic World something, something, something. No. So
The Lost City or something crazy.
yeah, I feel like it's
and
just
then
it's just certain
Dominion
ones.
is this one,
Yeah,
right?
this one's
Okay.
Dominion. Yeah.
All right. All right.
man,
Well,
yeah.
there we go. Watch it or not.
Or not. Yeah. Maybe we should call that. Watch it or not. Yeah,
That might be
I like
the name
that.
of
That might be
this
the name.
episode. But all right, everybody, have a wonderful week. Thank you for joining us on Sestra-Tainment.
Sestra-Tainment.
Take care.
Bye.